U.S. Senate, former Attorney General Kelly Ayotte.
Turn that one around.
Thank you so much. It is great to be here with all of you today, and I first of all want to thank the Governor Sununu, for leading our party and for stepping up to the plate. His leadership is so important to the party and us going forward. I also want to thank our National Committee woman, Phyllis Woods, and our National Committee man, Sean Mahoney, and all of you here who are here today because you care about what is happening in our country and you care about what is happening in our state. Especially you, Congressman. I really appreciated your comments. And I've had the privilege of serving our state the last 5 years as our Attorney General, and I'm very proud that our state has been ranked the safest state in the nation for the past 2 years. And so I want to tell you that I've gone after the criminals, and so you mentioned the criminals and they take your money. Well, I'm going to go after government who's taking our money with the same attitude I've gone after criminals. I can tell you right now. I want to tell you a little bit about myself and our family. I grew up in New Hampshire. I was born in Nashua, and we went to, my husband Joe and I were an ordinary middle-class family with 2 kids. Public service is a big foundation of our family. My husband served in the Iraq War. He flew combat missions in the A-10 Warthog. He still serves in the National Guard. So public service is a big part of who we are. Also, we have lots of families still around in New Hampshire. I can't say that I have a farm that Ovid Lamontagne has, so I'm really impressed with that. But we still live near our parents, our grandparents, our aunts, our uncles, and they're all a big part of our lives. And I think that's really important, that families are what makes things happen. People, families, small businesses are what makes things happen, not government. And that's certainly a foundation of our family. Over the past years, I mentioned that my husband served in the military. I've served our state for 11 years. And now I want to consider whether I can better serve our state in the United States Senate. As the mother of a 22-month-old little boy and a 4-year-old little girl, I have to tell you that I have really been concerned about what the future will hold for our children. Our elected officials, unfortunately, in Washington have let us down. They're spending money that we don't have. They're putting together a debt, unfortunately, that our children cannot afford to pay. They're mortgaging our children's future. And they're bailing out the banks. They've bailed out the auto industry. They spend over $1 trillion on what they call stimulus. And what have we gotten other than record deficits that unfortunately our children are going to have to repay? And I say enough is enough. We need to bring New Hampshire common sense to Washington. And you can't spend money that you do not have. Joe and I as a family, like I'm sure every single family here, sits around our kitchen, we sit around our kitchen table, we figure out what we have, we prioritize, and we don't spend money that we don't have. And I say that our government should be no different. They should not spend money, the government should not spend money that it does not have. Our elected officials should be willing to make the hard decisions. And I'll tell you, I've been tough on crime as Attorney General, as I mentioned. I'm not afraid to make the tough calls. I've had to make some very difficult decisions as Attorney General. And I will make the tough decisions that need to be made to protect our children's future. And we need more leadership like that in Washington. Over the coming months, I'm looking forward to going around our state and to talking to people about core Republican values. Don't spend money that you don't have. It's not government that makes jobs, it's small businesses, and the small businessmen and women around this country. My husband also has a small business. They're the ones that make jobs, and we have to get out of their way and let them do it and not tax them further, not increase their debt, not have government take over health care. And those are the issues I look forward to talking with the people of our state about. And I want to say that we certainly are going through tough times, but we have been through tough times before as a nation. We've always pulled together, we've always met that challenge. We need to stand up for New Hampshire common sense. We need to hold our government accountable. We need to hold people like Paul Hodes accountable. Paul Hodes and Nancy Pelosi have spent our money by the trillions. And I saw a Red Sox hat right there. It's really hard to get your hands around what $1 trillion is, right? Well, someone has pointed out to me, $1 trillion is the equivalent of if you bought every single ticket at Fenway Park for every home game of the Red Sox, you could buy every ticket for the next 6,570 years. Can you imagine, obviously, how many Red Sox games we'd all like to be at with that money? But that money is money that should stay in your pocket. Could you imagine what you could do with that money if you kept it in your pocket and spent it as you saw fit, not as the government told you to spend it or took our money? And that is the type of issues that we need to bring forward as Republicans. I think the people of this state are hungry to hear about those issues. They are concerned about what happens at their kitchen tables. And we need to hold Paul Hodes accountable. And I want to say that I am the candidate that can beat Paul Hodes. The Democrats are so concerned about my candidacy, they send out a press release about every day. And they'll stoop to no level about it. On Friday, they actually put out a press release criticizing me and attacking me for going to the Nashua Stakeout. Anyone ever been to the Nashua Stakeout? It's kind of an event like here, where literally a picnic in Nashua, New Hampshire, where Republicans and concerned citizens get together and they talk about important issues that affect our country, and they call that an Insider Washington event. Apparently Paul Hodes hasn't been to his own district in Nashua, New Hampshire, where I grew up. And we know that he hasn't read the bills. And I'll tell you one thing, I'll work hard, I'll read the bills, I'll do my homework. But I'm going to need all of your help here, the help of every single one of you, to beat Paul Hodes. And you know what? We need to make sure that those elected officials like Paul Hodes are told that we are going to stand up for New Hampshire common sense. And I'll tell you right now that I'm going to work hard. I'm the candidate that can beat him. But I'll need all of your help. I'll need citizens from around this state, and we're going to stand up for fiscal sanity in Washington. We're going to protect the children, the future of our children, my children, your children. That's what matters, and as Republicans, we know that's what matters. Thank you for having me today.